Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. Before I get to our guests here today, I'd like to remind everyone to please like and subscribe down below if you enjoy this content. We greatly appreciate it. We have Jackie Peacock on the show. She's coming to us all the way from Reno, Nevada, home of Reno 911, one of the great shows of all time. So if anyone ever sees that show, that's basically where she's from. She's also the owner, founder, developer, and instructor of Bodypow, which is just an amazing company that she's came up with. Basically, she teaches health and fitness to a lot of people, and it's just a really, really great thing. Everyone go and check that out. But most importantly, she's our current guest on the show. Jackie, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. I'm excited to be here and to talk with you.
Absolutely. So why don't you give us a little bit of a backstory on what inspired you to adapt that healthy and fit lifestyle?
Well, you know, I grew up an athlete. I've been an athlete my entire life. I was a swimmer since I was 8 years old, all the way through high school, college. Started running marathons after college and got into instructing kickboxing, fitness things. So I've always had that. I just feel, I feel like it kind of just completes who I am. It just gives me that sense of strength, that sense of empowerment. And I did kind of lose that when I had my babies. I had two babies. And when I hit that point, I was always this athlete and ex-athlete. And when I had the two babies and I was home alone in the house and sitting on the floor and felt like my life was just that for the rest of my life, that's how Bodypow and that kind of, I had to get that second hit of inspiration, that I was more than just this mom, which is so important, but this is mom sitting on the ground tending to these babies. And so I started doing body weight work in my house to kind of like just remind myself of who I was. I didn't have the time to get to the gym and do different things. So I was just started doing body weight work in my house, and it just started to really cycle. And then here we are today with Bodypow. That's the short version of it.
That's great. So when you were, before you did like all the body weight workouts, when you were in the gym, one of the things that I always love to ask everyone is, if you go into a gym with 100 people, there's 100 different ways that people got to the way that they look. Whether it comes to nutrition, how many reps they do, what exercises they do. Was that hard for you even when you were even when you were starting out with Bodypow? Was that a hard thing for you, knowing that everyone's body is super different and that other people might need other different ways in order to make their body look good?
No, I agree with you that everybody's body is different and responds differently to different workouts. But for me, again, Bodypow, when it developed, it was more of an empowerment, like trying to empower myself and other people. So, you know, I will even talk about that now. It's not as much about how your body presents itself or how it looks. It's how you feel, the strength you can find within, and then the health part of it, you know, with the nutrition and working out. I mean, fitness is personal. That's the whole concept of Bodypow. It's a personally optimized workout. Fitness itself is personal. So yes, you're going to find not everything is for everyone. I mean, you're going to find people who like, you know, the high impact, the anaerobic, just the Pilates, the yoga, whatever it is. And that's all okay. It's whatever makes you feel strong and empowered and fit and energy. It gives you energy and gives you good moods and that sort of thing. And yes, nutrition plays a part in that too. But so it's more of the whole thing. I don't always Bodypow's for everyone. It's for me definitely 100%. But it's finding what works for you and to elevate your moods and to just make you feel healthy and good.
That is such a great message that you have. When you had your kids and you started doing those body weight exercises that you were talking about, did your body adjust fairly quickly, or did it take a little bit more time for you to sort of get back into shape after you had your kids?
You know, it was remarkably fast, I have to say. Once I made that decision to just kind of to hone back into fitness and that commitment to myself, really more than anything, I took myself, I said 3 days a week for 45 minutes. I am going to do this. And what I did was the way I did it, and now how Bodypow has developed since then, it's a strong mind to muscle connection that I use with the body weight. And I just kind of like had this like, rah, you know, I would just really get down and deep with the muscle and the contraction and the movement through space and tight. And that it happened. I was going anaerobic. I was making myself go anaerobic because I was just trying to get out the angst of early motherhood, you know. So I was going anaerobic with my own body weight, 30 seconds on, at home alone 3 days a week. And I'm telling you, the transformation for me was pretty quick, I would say. And at the same time, I coupled a different way of eating. So in about 6 weeks for me, I lost 15 pounds, just boom, just like that. Wow. And, and now I've kept it off. And now it's just a maintaining kind of thing. I just got to where my body wanted to be. And now it's just a sustained lifestyle.
And when you're talking about bodyweight exercises, what were the exercises that you were doing when you started out?
That's a great question. So very basic. I started out with the basics, which squats, lunges, planks, side planks, bridges, tables, sit-ups, that kind of thing. And very, very basic. 30 seconds on, 10 rests. And it was just that strong contraction that I realized, so many people are just kind of all day long doing this, or they're throwing their weights, but they're not really thinking, they're not really getting in there with it. So it was just the really basic ones. And then it just, again, developed from there. It's been in development now for 6 years, and now it's a total program. But at first I was just going for those squats, just strong into the glute and coming up,
Do you incorporate weights into your workouts now, or do you still sort of do the body weight stuff?
Do you know what? I don't at all. I haven't lifted a weight or used a piece of equipment in 6 years. Nothing. Wow. Nothing at all. Nothing.
That's amazing.
It's just because, your body weighs something. So throwing yourself around with gusto and strength and conviction, it does something. And so I haven't lifted a weight in 6 years now.
I was going to say, because one of the big myths that we love to bust on here is that it's gotten a lot better, but some women still have that fear where if they touch one weight, they're just going to get super huge and get really, really bulky. And there are alternatives to it. I mean, we can dispel that myth right now. Could you give us a flex real quick? And I was going to say, look, does she look like the Hulk or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? And she's doing all body weight stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And she's in amazing shape. So you don't have to lift the weights to look like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's one of those things where I like to tell the story. I have one of my friends in college, when I started working out, getting really serious, she would always tell me when I'd go to the gym, I really want to go with you, but I don't want to get big and bulky. I'm just afraid of that. And eventually one night I just snapped and said, hey, the amount of weight that your purse carries when we go out to like clubs or we go out to eat weighs more than a lot of the dumbbells in the gym. And you're not getting any muscle from carrying that thing around. So eventually she decided to come in and started working out, and it really, really was beneficial. So it's just about overcoming your fears.
Yes, and trying different things. I think that's a good point. I mean, I am not anti-weights. I'm not the whole world come to the Bodypow, Team Bodypow only. But try things out, and you might be surprised that body weight really did sculpt body. I lifted weights my whole life. I was a swimmer, like I said, all the way through college, and I was competitive, and I was at the national level, and I was all American, and so we were in there lifting. I looked like I was like this, like a V.
Those swimmer backs. Yeah, absolutely.
Swimmer back and a V. But it's been lots of years since then. So, these shoulders and whatever it is still now is not from swimming anymore. It's from, wide lat decline push-ups just on the ground, popping up and, going faster and stronger and tighter and, that sort of thing. So to try different things. I did weights for a long time. I like them. I probably have done everything with fitness classes and the weights under the sun. For me, Bodypow and bodyweight to Bodypow is what works for me the best. What I was striving for, the look and the tone and the definition that I was striving for is bodyweight. So it's just different, for everybody.
Absolutely. And at what point in your journey, when you just started doing your bodyweight exercise, at what point did you say, like, hey, I could turn this into something? Was there a certain moment where you're just like kind of had the light bulb pop up and you're like, oh, something could come out of this?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So it was very organic, the way Bodypow developed. So like I said, I was home alone on the floors with my 2 little babies and doing bodyweight exercises, and it happened fairly quickly. At the same time with it, nutrition, I tweaked the nutrition up and basically stopped eating all their goldfish, all those sort of things. And I did it was only 3 days a week, 45 minutes, but with that strong intensity. I was drip sweat. That was my time to just like be to myself and feel my own power and strength. And so I did it for 6 weeks, lost a bunch of weight. That's just now since stabilized. It's been stabilized, and got to where I wanted to be. And friends of mine started noticing my shoulders originally. They noticed my shoulders and they said, what are you doing? You're not coming to the gym anymore. You're not lifting weights. Where are you? Where have you been? And why do you look better now? So I said, I'm happy to show you. I've kind of gotten out all of that, stuff. I feel better. Let's go to the gym and I'll show you. So I went with two friends we checked the basketball court schedule and it was open, no games, no pickups. And I went to the corner of the gym and I showed two of my friends what I've been doing. Just let me show you what I've been doing. And so I did that, and two friends quickly turned into 5, turned into 12, it just got growing. And then the rec center where I was said, you're teaching a class, you're a liability, you have to stop. And I pushed back and I said, well, first of all, I was a fitness instructor back in the day, so I'm certified, I know how to teach, but I don't see how this is any different than a boys pickup basketball game where we're doing it when the gym is open, no one's using it. I'm not screaming, I'm not playing music like I do now. We're just girls, ladies working out together. I don't see the difference. They pushed me back and said, nope, you're done. Too many people. It's like, well, because it was conflicting to their class schedule. So I told those ladies, all right, we're done. I'm going to go back into my house and continue because this is working for me. Well, we've been doing it already for about 2 months, 3 times a week. And so they had started seeing the changes. So those ladies they said, can't stop with us. You have to sublease a space and so I looked at, my daughter was taking ballet at the time. She was like 4. And I asked the ballet teacher, what's going on in the morning? Nothing. Sits idle. The space sits idle. So I started teaching that same group. I asked, can I sublease it from you just for an hour, 2 or 3 times a week? And then it just grew. I mean, I started out twice a week, grew to 3 times a week. Then it just kept going. And then I moved down to Reno. At the time I lived in Tahoe. I moved down to Reno and I thought, I wonder if I can keep this going. And so I found another place to sublease. And then I was going to both Tahoe and Reno. And it just kept expanding to the point where now it's online. I started realizing I can't keep it going, just me. I mean, I couldn't reach the demands of the people that wanted different times of the day. And I tried different instructors and didn't always work. They wanted what I was giving. So I started recording the classes and now they're online as well.
Has that ever just been surreal for you? Because like one thing with my podcast that I found out where when I reached a certain level of popularity, I'm like, I started this all by myself. It's just surreal when you reach that. Have you ever had that surreal moment where you're like, this just came out of my idea and now it became this whole different thing? Have you really had that like shocking feeling at all where you're like, how did this all happen?
Yes, all of the time. It's been going for 6 years. The online has been going for about 1.5 years, 2 years. It's still kind of more fresh, but it's a pretty amazing, and it makes me speechless a little bit. It's kind of cool, that this is just something that I did to just kind of feel better about myself and get to reconnect with myself. And now I'm helping other people reconnect with, it's just amazing. Yeah.
How important is it for you to also stay in shape for your kids? Because most people, kids can be a handful in and of themselves. They're full of energy. They're always go, go, go. How important is it for you to stay in shape just to be able to keep up with them?
Well, I think that's a good point. And in fact, when I first made the commitment, I actually wrote I wrote up on the computer a little to myself diary. And I just rediscovered it recently. It was November 14th, 2012. And I talked about how I need to make some changes about eating and the workout because I needed more, and working out again because I needed more energy. And it was about eating for energy and having a lifestyle that is conducive to more energy for the kids, for the family. And that's just kept going. And because I was feeling so lethargic all the time and just, so tired. And so, yes, energy for anybody. Whether you have children or not, it's really for yourself. Nobody wants to sit around and feel lethargic and not productive. You want to feel like I want to keep going, and an object in motion stays in motion, right? So you want that kind of thing for yourself, and I think fitness does that.
One thing that I've realized since we started talking is that you have a lot of energy. I just get that feeling. I get that intensity. How are you able to get that when you have 2 kids and you have everything else? What are some secrets or have you always just been a super energetic person?
That's very nice of you to say that. Thank you, because I try really hard to translate over to camera. That's my whole, so thank you. But I I guess I am an energetic person, but I do think again that went away for a while when I stopped working out and when I stopped focusing on myself and what I need to do and when I stopped eating correctly. So when I kind of just smoothed out the edges on that, that's where the energy comes and sustains itself. Same thing.
Yeah. So you said like you lifted weights before and then you had kids. Did you do any exercise at all when you were pregnant?
Oh yes. No. I did. I was lifting. I had weight dumbbells in my hands. I had two kids. My first I have a daughter and a son. The day my daughter was born, I had dumbbells in my hand that day. So I did. But then the second I was a much more tired. So it was a lot less because I was tired with this infant. They're only like 18 months apart. They're not very far apart. So I was a lot more tired with that one. But yes, I did lift weights and I did stay fit during pregnancy. Absolutely. And that helped that first pregnancy tenfold. It did.
Yeah. And obviously we have a lot of men and women on this show that are, into that healthy and fit lifestyle. But what would you say is one of the big problems that you have to deal with, especially when you're trying to get other women to, adapt that more healthy and fit lifestyle? What are some of the big excuses that you hear?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the excuses are a lot of about time, often about time, which is why I've written my Bodypow program to be able to do it at your own home. And it's an hour-long class, but I give people ways on how you can just do it for a half an hour, even if you can just do a sliver, like the main part of the set for 15 minutes. So time is often an excuse, but I feel like time is an excuse. There is the time. You just have to make it a priority. I feel like a priority, you just have to define your priorities. And if you have health and fitness at the top of it, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's when you let it just slip down and you don't define your priorities that's when it kind of gets lost.
I couldn't agree more. We have nurses on here that work 12-hour shifts and they're still able to get workouts in, or they're still able to maintain that.
Oh, I have a bunch of nurses.
Oh, yeah.
They love Bodypow Live because they can do it at home or, but right before their shift and they're tired, but they can do a half an hour before bed or right before they go to work. Yeah, I have a lot of nurses.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that's just amazing in and of itself. But it is all about, like I always like to say, we all have the same 24 hours. It's just about how you're able to use them. That's just a huge, and just mentally, it's just so huge. Just have that positive mindset and to just get into it. It's a
mental priority. You're right. It's a mental priority.
So, and you said you adjusted your nutrition when you started with the Bodypow. What was your nutrition like before, and how did you sort of tweak it?
I was a carb queen. When I wrote up, like I said, I just revisited it. So I wrote it on November 14th, 2012. My day in the life of how I ate. Bagel in the morning, peanut butter and jelly at lunch, goldfish cheddar bunnies for snacks with the kids, salty chicken noodle soup in the middle of the afternoon, and then a big carbohydrate dish with maybe little specks of chicken and teeny bit of vegetables thrown in for good measure. I just ate carbs so much. And so what I tweaked out was really that, I still eat carbs, but not just all day long. It's not all day long. And I like to look at my sugar intake and my sodium intake pretty much more than anything else. I think that's the biggest thing that I think about is sodium and sugar, and kind of trying to stay away from all that processed stuff.
Do you find it hard? I mean, a lot of people that train people that we have on the show, I love to ask, you can obviously really help people out when they're in front of you, when they're working out with you, which is a big part of it. But nutrition wise, that can sometimes be on their own, where you aren't really there to help them when it comes to eating healthy. Can that be hard for you sometimes, knowing that if people, even if they do all of your workouts and they do maintain, all the time, they're always on key with their workouts, that even if they don't follow your nutrition, they might not see results?
And that's true. I feel like most people that really get into Bodypow start to feel the results, and it kind of goes with it. They start to feel themselves tighten up and the strength, and then they're ready to want to see what they're working so hard for. They can feel it, and so they're like, "What?" So that they want to tighten up their nutrition to see the definition and to see the tone. And so it kind of starts to kind of go hand in hand, which is the way I want it to be, because I don't want to be the one pushing anything on anyone. I have a whole Kickstart nutrition plan that I've written up that people do if they ask me for it. How do you eat? I wait for that question. What can I do? Because I don't push. It has to be start with you. It has to be personal. It has to be, you're ready for it. So everyone's goals are different too. I mean, some people want to come in and just feel strong, but they want to go and they want to have their wine and cheese every night. And that's fine. So everybody has different goals. And that's where I go to. Like when you come to me and you ask me for that extra nutrition help, if you're wanting to see the tone, great. If you're happy with how you are and just feeling that strength and power, that's awesome too.
What is that feeling like for you when you are able to see some of your clients or people that you work out with, their bodies change and know that you are partly responsible for that? What is that feeling like for you? Because I can just imagine that it must be just an awesome feeling.
It is an awesome feeling. And I have to be honest, when they do finally get to the nutrition piece and they ask me and then they actually follow it and then the weight starts to fall off like it did for me 6 years ago, that's just like, it works. I knew it worked. Like you just have to trust me and trust in yourself and be ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready for it. It works.
Mm-hmm. And when you're filming, like you said, you're filming your workouts, you're doing all that. You always have to, like, you have an energetic personality and you always have to have that. What are some ways though? I mean, obviously you're not going to feel super energetic every single day. What are some tips and tricks that you use on days that you might not be feeling the best to still, because you know that a lot of people are watching you, a lot of people are coming to you for inspiration. What are some tips and tricks that you use in order to still, portray that super energetic, super positive image?
I think you guys such good questions, Ryan. That's a good question. So for me, motivation does come and go. Everybody, it's a fickle thing, right? So it's about self-discipline. I feel like more than anything else, discipline trumps motivation because you're not always going to feel motivated. So I'm a very disciplined person. I'm very routine, and I guess that works in my favor, but I know a lot of people are. So work that in your favor. If this is my job, I love it. It doesn't feel like a job, but it's my job. So, people don't want to go to work every day. They go to work every day. You don't want to work out every day. Get your shoes on, or in Bodypow, you don't even wear shoes sometimes, but get your stuff on and get that self-discipline like you're getting a paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and get there and do it. And I feel like it's more for me discipline. Now, once I start, once I start the workout, it's real every time. There's an authentic passion that I have for it. So sometimes through the warm up, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm checking the box. I don't like this. And then but every time you can almost see it in me. It's just like, I'm starting to drench with sweat and I just love it, and it just goes. And the other thing, Ryan, is that with Bodypow, I only work out 5 days a week. So I'm not, and I was for a while. For the summer, I just did 3 because I was always with the kids. So 3 to 5 days a week is really all that I need. And so it's not like I'm in the gym for 3 hours a day or have to go back and do doubles. And it's 1 hour.
Yeah.
For
everyone that says time too, it's like there's these high intensity workouts that you can do for 15, 20 minutes that can give you sometimes similar results. It's just all different ways that you can find out, and everyone's body's different. It's just about finding that balance, which is just so important. But also, how important is it to you to have that healthy image, especially for your kids? Because I've talked to so many parents, and kids really do look up to their parents when it comes to especially how they eat or their lifestyles. If you have usually an obese parent, then the kid is more likely to become obese and have struggles with that. How important is that for you too, just to have that positive influence for your kids? So when they look at their mom, they'll say like, oh my God, I can look like that when I'm that age, or if I do what mom says, then I'll be like that.
Yeah, it's been very important to me. It always has been. So as I want them to be healthy and strong. And so we talk about we don't talk about, weight and thin and fat and all of that. We talk about strength, and that's what we have always talked about. And both my kids are very strong, and we have always talked about being strong. And and when I was doing these bikini competition shows just as a side hobby, because of Bodypow was kind of shaping my body into that. And so I did a couple of those, and I would win these trophies, and I would tell the kids when they were little, they're trophies because, mommy eats healthy and stays fit,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm strong. I got these trophies because I'm strong, and so that is important to them, and they are active kids, and it's important for me to stay active with them. So, and like you were saying about with the, the anaerobic Bodypow is pretty much a hit anaerobic workout. So that's, I think, why you don't need as much time. So I tell people it's an hour class, but we do like 10-minute warm up, and then we have 30 minutes in the middle of like a harder hitting stuff. And then I do kind of isometric stuff, and then it's a stretch. So it kind of all comes out, but I'm like, if you don't have a lot of time, you just go right to the heart of it, go right in the middle. And that will work.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you competed, so I always got to ask, being a super pale person myself, I'm very, very pale. What was the experience like for you when you put that tan on for the first time and saw we've had people come on who were like, yeah, I saw everything popped out. It was awesome. But what was that experience like for you?
Oh, just getting on that tan. It was crazy. The whole thing. I felt like I was in like an underground world. The whole thing was really crazy. But I was just doing the first one to just kind of like see what it was about and kind of step outside of my comfort zone and do something fun and different. And but yeah, no, it was like I felt like I walked into an underground world of like, what am I doing? But it was cool, you know.
What was that feeling like walking on stage? Because whenever I have my musicians on or I have other competitors on, for my musicians, I always ask, like, what is that like, the thrill of performing live? What does that feel like for you? And then also, I think that can kind of be similar to competing. What was that feeling like for you when you stepped on stage and, had people cheering and you just got to show off, like you said, all of that hard work? What was that feeling like?
Oh, it was really cool. I mean, I think that kept me going. So I have done 10 bikini shows. So I've done a lot, and they were all within 2.5-3 year period. So I didn't do the typical, like big, like up and down. And I never lifted weights through them. And used diuretic supplements, nothing. I was just showing that, you can sustain. This is, so I just kind of kept going in and out of them. So I did 10 in the course of like 2.5 years. So I think that is why, though, I liked the like, Bodypow works,
that is absolutely mind-blowing that all of these other competitors were lifting weights and you weren't doing any of that and you were still competing with them. I mean, if that doesn't tell people out there that you can still get results doing that, that is unbelievable. I have never had anyone on here who said that they never lifted weights and just did body weight. That is unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I did those 10 shows, and I did they're local for the most part. In the beginning, I'll go to the NPC, and I won most of them, and then I my last 3 shows were with the NSL, and then I got my pro card in it, and then my last one I won a pro show with the NSL, so that was kind of exciting. So and I get to be like, and my body looks a little bit different than theirs because they're all doing the exact same thing, but I also get to it's not about the photo for me. It's about the lifestyle. So I gotta this is how I get to look, because this is what I do 5 hours a week. That's it.
Have you gotten used to like people just being perplexed when they ask you like, what do you do? And you say that you don't do any weights, when people are like, how did you win that? You're like, I don't train. I don't do any weights. I just do body weight.
And unfortunately, yes. I think people are shocked with it, but if you work out and do what I do, you can get real close. It's all genetics. I'm like, I was 15, 20 pounds heavier. It's not. It's how I work out. It's how passionate I am about the workout. It's the sweat. It's the contraction. It's the restrict. It's all of it together. It's just a lifestyle. But it's not just me. It's possible.
Absolutely. And like you said, you have a lot of moms on the show, and I've had a few moms on previously, and I love to, sort of talk about how they're able to fit that in, because being a mom, like we said before, is like a full-time job. It's very, very rough time commitment. What are some tips that you have for moms out there who are looking to get in better shape, who always just say, like, I don't have enough time, or it's just having the kids around is just too much for me. I have to have my attention focused on them. What are some ways that you like to give potential clients who might give you that reason?
Well, I mean, it's the same. It's no different. There's no magic pill. It really comes down to, again, the discipline of it and the priority of it and the why of it. I guess that would be the most magic pill I have to offer. Define your own why. The reason why, for me, I wanted more energy. I needed more energy for the kids. I wanted more energy for myself. I wanted to feel like myself again when I was that athlete. So you define your why. In my little write-up that I did when I'm ready for a change, I listed all of the reasons, and to look back on it is kind of cool because, I made that commitment to myself. I just made that commitment to myself. So I think defining your why and then prioritizing it, and then just checking the self-discipline box over the motivation box is helpful.
I always ask some of my guests that have kids too, at like, what age would you want them to start weight training or whatever? But obviously body weights just work out great for you. At what age are you having your kids start doing body weight exercises too? Because like at any age, body weight exercises can be good for you. But at what age would you really like start to get them into a more serious, sort of a lot more concentrated on it?
Well, I mean, my kids do things that are body weight. I I have 10-year-olds that come to my class with their moms, and they're more, it's more cardio, bouncing around a little bit. They have less of the mind to muscle connection quite right now, but it still is good role modeling. That Saturday mornings I'll have some 10-year-olds. But my son is 8 and he does some conditioning. He does little kid conditioning classes, and my daughter is 10 and she does all-star cheerleading, where she's holding the little girls up above her head, so she's holding other people's body weight. So that's where their strength is. They're both strong kids, and they just really kind of manipulate their own bodies and just play, and they play hard. It's kind of like Bodypow is that same thing, like do it hard, play hard. But yeah, I think kids just get them moving. When they're little, none of this get off. Get them going.
Like I always said, my generation is gonna have the strongest thumbs of all time, but that's about it when it comes down to that. But what are some techniques that you use in order to keep your workouts fun? Because keeping workouts fun is a huge way of attracting people and getting people to stay. What are some techniques that you use?
Okay, so I'm a storyteller, so I feel like my workouts are very fun because my playlists are always different. I tell stories about the songs, or what's going on, or what the song reminds me of. So I'm a storyteller, and so for example, I just did Bridal Pow because I called it Bridal Pow because I had my anniversary, I had my husband in there, and I made a mixtape playlist and just talked to the whole way through about our relationship and just goofball. And all my playlists kind of coincide with, like, I did a pop-up pow with just the camera, and I was watching the airplanes fly by, and the whole playlist, I knew I was going to be there. The whole playlist had the word fly in it, and we did all airplane kind of moves. So I just I define the exercises for the theme of the workout, and I always seem to go with themes.
That is so great. And I'm the hopeless romantic myself. So everyone who's in a relationship or is married on the podcast, I always love to ask this one question. How did you and your husband meet?
We met in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we met in high school. So short answer, but yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love to hear like those stories. It's really, really fascinating for me. But when it comes down to playlists too, what in your opinion makes a good workout song? Does it have to have a certain formula?
No, not in my opinion. Not for Bodypow. In other places, yes. But for Bodypow, I feel like that's part of the appeal, kind of more of a mass appeal, is that I pull from all. Because I always say I pull from all. Because and sometimes it's a really crazy shuffle of a mix, and sometimes it's very, this is old school country, this is hip hop, this is pop, this is whatever it is, this is reggae, but so. What I always, my class is not synchronized. Mm-hmm. So I always talk about that. The music is just for fun. So you don't need to go to the beat of the music. It's so not synchronized because it's based on a time interval. So 30 seconds on per exercise. So, and that's why the personally optimized workout part comes, the POW. I have people doing tuck jumps, and then right next to them, someone's just going to barely going down into a squat. They're just brand new, starting off, getting that mind to muscle connection through the hamstring and the glute. And the other people are doing tuck jumps anaerobic to the 30 seconds. So we can all work out together. And so the music isn't as important in terms of the big actual beat. I do try to go for fun music and inspiring lyrics and that sort of thing. But, every once in a while I'll just throw something in that completely just makes people laugh because it just doesn't matter,
Absolutely. And for anyone out there in the audience who might be having that question, when you say mind to muscle connection, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, real intense focus on the muscle part that you are working and the body part you're concentrating on. Again, so many people, even with the weights in their hands, it's like they're just relying on the weight to get it. So it's, even if you are lifting weights, it's like thinking about the bicep and that strong. I mean, I will go so far as like when we're doing a squat with a side leg lift and a jump and that sort of thing. I'm always like the side glute. Think about little men in there, little women in there. Pulling your leg up with like a pulley, like really strongly thinking of visualizing the muscle work and contracting through movement and moving through contraction.
Absolutely. I mean, like, even when we were talking right now, I sometimes during podcasts, I like tense myself just to, sort of get that little workout in because I'm sitting at a chair sometimes. So it's just all about also that mind to muscle connection too, because you can make, weight seem bigger if you really have that mind to muscle connection. Yes. You can make everything just seem a lot tougher, and you can just make it a lot harder on your muscles. And you can basically get a workout in at any time. But when you're doing your training and your workouts with your clients, what is probably the big key for you? What would you say differentiates you from other people who do similar things? So like if I were to like go to like a different like body sculpting class or anything like that, who does like body weight too, if I were to go to yours and then go to theirs, what would you say I would think would probably be the most differentiating thing that would make you special as opposed to all the other ones?
Well, I think number one is the passion that I present.
I agree 100%.
So, I mean, yes, at the end of the day, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, yes. But I just have such a passion and a love for it, and I present that. And I feel like that's what people connect with, and that's why the online Bodypow Live is working also, because I try to translate that through the camera too, and just they see the strength and empowerment passion that I have for it. And I feel like it's not just like, okay, now we're doing this, now we're doing this. It's like, I am in it and it works, and and it's fun, the music, and then my storytelling with it. It's just how I teach, because it is my passion. It's my baby.
I have to agree with you 100%. I mean, just seeing your fire and your passion, I mean, it makes me want to go work out. It makes me want to get help.
Let's do it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could do it. We'll do a live workout one of these days. But
do it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just so inspiring. And when someone does look at someone who just has that fire and that intensity, it really wants to make them. So I agree with you 100%. And everyone, definitely go and check her out. I'll leave all these links down below. But now we're going to the audience favorite part and my personal favorite part of the podcast, a little questionnaire that we like to do, where I'm going to ask Jackie here about a dozen or so questions, and we'll get her answers and see how she stacks up to everyone else. For our first question, what is your go-to workout song at the moment?
Oh, gosh, that's a hard one, because I really do have a lot. Oh gosh, that's a hard one. My go-to workout song. I like anything by Shaggy.
Ooh.
I like a lot of songs by Shaggy.
Wow, I would have never guessed that. That's the first Shaggy that we've had on here.
Well, because it's old school, but it's good.
Well, yeah, I'm more of an old school guy myself, where I got to have like a Metallica or something like that, just because I need to psych myself up. So sometimes when I'm at the gym, I'll be like doing lat pull downs, but I'll have to wait for the beat to drop. So sometimes people will be looking at me and be like, what is this guy doing? Why is he waiting? So I'll be waiting for like half a minute for that. But yeah, I do. Or I have like Rocky IV. Like I like the cheesy 80s music too. That really.
Oh, I like that. I have a whole playlist of that stuff too.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, the cheesy 80s, it really pumps me up as well.
I like that too. Yeah. I kind of like, I like, if I really feel like I need a boost, I like going for more of like a reggae beat. Mm-hmm. That kind of will give me a little bit of if I just feel like I need something like that on a tired Saturday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And second question, out of all the celebrities on the planet, if you could work out with any celebrity, who would it be?
Oh gosh, good question. Oh. Well, you know what? In my brain right now, because we had talked a little bit earlier, I'm going to say Jennifer Aniston.
Yes. Yeah, that would be. Yeah. That would be. Yep, that's up there for me.
Amazing.
Thank you for saying Jennifer Aniston, because we have had so many of the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnsons. You're like our 35th Health and Fitness guest. 30 of them have been Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Everyone, I mean, he's great. He's great, but we need to mix it up a little bit. And yeah, Jennifer Aniston, that would be.
Yeah, I mean, just a similar kind of like tone and drive. I feel like I would like to work out with her.
Yeah, absolutely. We also had a Kelly Ripa too, which was probably the only other woman we had, and she's great as well. But yeah, Jennifer Aniston, 100%. Me, I just go old school. I'd probably just say like Arnold, just give a really basic answer, just because it's Arnold, and I'd really love to just hear him yell in his Austrian accent. That's like one of my life goals here. Is just it's just so funny. But now, if you could, out of all the celebrities on the planet, if you could train any celebrity, who would it be? Or have a celebrity attend one of your classes.
I would like Kate Hudson. I would like her in one of my classes, because she does have that whole line of leggings, and I would love for her to try my class.
Oh yeah, and she's in really good shape as well too. She would do great in that class. Absolutely.
I think so.
So now, what is one item that you always need to have in your fridge?
Turkey meat.
That is the first time we've had that answer, believe it or not. We usually get chicken. We've had some people that say mustard, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't get that. But then apparently it's like low in fat. It's got like no fat, and it's a lot of protein, so a lot of our bodybuilders love that. But what is one thing that people who follow you on Instagram would be surprised to know if they met you in person?
That I think that they would be surprised to see that I have like really heavy hands. Like I'm very... I rip boxes to open them, and I can't wrap presents nicely. And I think people think I'm a little more dainty than I am. I'm like, blah!
Does that kind of harm you sometimes when you kind of got to have like smooth, steady hands? Has that been a problem?
I don't need to have smooth, steady hands. Why do I need them?
Oh, like I'm saying, like if you had to like focus, like if you're like on it, like I'll give you a scenario. Like I was using a hot glue gun last night. If you had like a scenario where you like had to use like that, I was gonna say that might be a little tricky.
I hate wrapping presents. I mean, you know, it's things like that. Like, no, yes, I can't open boxes. Like cereal boxes for the kids are just like torn like a monster box. I mean, it's a joke in our family. So I think people don't expect that of me. They just can't. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had that happen sometimes too, where I don't know my own strength, and the next thing you know, there's everything lying all around the floor, and it's just it's one of those things that just happens. And one of my things that I found out when I started working out and getting bigger and stronger, probably the thing that annoyed me the most at first was that you're going to get asked to move a lot of people's furniture. You're going to get asked to open a lot of pickle jars. You're going to get asked to do all these things like, hey, can you help me move? I'm doing this sort of thing. Have you ever had to deal with any of that? And if so, how do you deal with it?
I don't know that I actually have had to deal with that. I think I don't present as, so I think I'm stronger than people think and realize. And so that's when they see that I'm toned, but then when they see, like, I'll give you an example. I just went to an Oktoberfest with my family. We were raising money for youth lacrosse. Anyway, so the sign holding contest, with the big liter cups filled with beer and the sign holding. And, I went up against all these women and they clearly all lifted weights. And I was even like, I had my Bodypow hat on and my husband signed me up. And my friends encouraged me. And I was like, oh my gosh, just like, am I going to be okay with it? But, I won. My strong shoulders are strong shoulders, but I don't think anyone saw me as a threat at all because I was, this thing out here and everybody else was clearly lifting. And afterwards on Facebook, I got the girl that I was neck and neck with at the end. I ended up being Facebook friends with. I didn't even know. And she was like, oh my gosh, Jackie, you're the one that beat me. Now I don't feel so badly about myself. She just thought I was some small thing over to the side. So I think that I'm stronger than people even think, know?
I always get... I always am the exact opposite because I'm a big person and I'm also 6'3", so that really doesn't help me in my opinion. So people look at me and they're like, yeah, this guy can help me move my furniture or whatever. So my entire weekend is full of just friends in the summer, especially friends just saying, hey, I'm moving out. Can you help me do all that? So for me personally, it's one of those things where I just realize they're recognizing the hard work that I put in the gym and they're recognizing, the lifestyle. So I appreciate it. But at first it was a little bit of a struggle. And then what was the last TV show that you binge watched? Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I actually don't binge watch, but I did. I don't binge watch shows because I'm, busy with the kids. So, but this last summer, just a couple months ago, my husband took both of the kids with a group of dads and kids to a kid-dad camping trip. So I had these 4 days to myself. And one of those days I was like, what's this binge watching all about? I sat down one whole day shot. And it was Atypical.
Oh, wow.
On Netflix. Yeah. Atypical. I thought it was so great. I don't even know how that happened, but I just watched the whole darn thing. Yeah.
I barely binge watch too, but when I do it, I take it to the extreme. But what is your favorite TV show of all time?
Of all time? Mm-hmm. Of all time. I would maybe say Friends.
Yep.
Of all times. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. For me, it's a tie between Friends and The Office. Just depends on what day it is.
Yes, and The Office. You are right. I love The Office too.
Another absolutely great show. Now, what is a guilty pleasure movie that you enjoy?
Oh gosh, guilty pleasure movie. Like way old school. I like Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh wow. Never expect. I'm not gonna lie. I have seen that movie, so I will go out there and say it in public around my guy friends. I will never say that I saw it, but I did see it. It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It was good with Sarah Jessica Parker and Tom Hunt.
Yep,
great.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have from a similar era. My ultimate date night movie is The Princess Bride, so that's my guilty pleasure movie.
I've never seen that.
What?
It's not crazy. I know. I know. That's something I've got to do because everyone has the same reaction.
Next time you ever have a day off where if your husband takes the kids away, you're watching The Princess Bride.
Okay, for Princess Bride. I have to.
And what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate chip cookie dough or Reese's peanut butter cup.
Okay, the guest that I just had on said chocolate chip cookie dough, and that was only the second time, and that is also my favorite flavor. If you get me a chocolate chip cookie dough from Dairy Queen, I am set for the day. Just
so good.
Yeah, I have to limit myself, but I try to get it probably once a month or whatever, and just treat myself. But yeah, that is
So good.
That is my ultimate for sure. If someone were to walk up to you on the street and then say, like, obviously, oh my God, you look amazing. I want to sort of, adapt that healthy and fit lifestyle. What would be the best piece of advice that you would give that person right then and there for them to be successful?
Well, I mean, at first I would encourage them to try my Bodypow class.
Yeah.
So, but it would be more like, I think like I said, I said this before, and I said this to my clients, and I can see when a light clicked. If they're really ready, I say, well, then you need to replace the idea of motivation with self-discipline. That clicks for some people when they're ready to hear it.
Is it hard sometimes to kind of gauge when people might be ready, or have you gotten really easy at just seeing that where you're like, this person's ready, as opposed to this person might need a little bit of work before they're fully ready to embrace it?
Yeah, I feel like I can sort of see it, and I can see it in their eyes, I feel like, most of the time. But again, then it comes down to, it's not that they're not ready, it's that they have different priorities and different goals, and that is okay. Then not everyone wants to look the exact same. I do have people that, are overweight in my class, that they have been for a long time, but they like the feelings of strength, and they also like to eat their cakes, and that's okay. So I mean, it's just, and they're not upset. So it really is, it's individual goal. If you're ready to make it and you want to make a change, then, that's when the power comes, I guess, with that. But you have to be ready and want to. Or if you're happy, good for you. You're happy.
Yeah. and you mentioned it before, and it also leads into one of my questions. Like when you said you had to stop eating the goldfish when you were, starting the Bodypow. Obviously, kids are going to have their own type of nutrition. They're going to like the pizzas, the hamburgers. They're going to like all that. Has it been a struggle for you when they have that type of food all around you to sort of just say, like, I can't eat that, or I can't, overeat it? Has that ever been a struggle for you?
Maybe 6 years ago in the beginning, maybe. It's not a struggle for me at all anymore. My kids absolutely eat like kids. Yeah. I mean, pizza, hot dog, hamburger, grilled cheese, that's what they like too. So, no, I mean, let kids eat like kids. That that's how I feel about it. But it's not something that I crave, because I've gotten most of the sugar and the sodium. I mean, I have my chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream here and there too. But and do the moderation piece a little bit. But it's nothing that I really crave. And in fact, I feel like if I have too much pizza, I wake up in the middle of the night from all the sodium. So I don't even I know I'm going to wake up, so I just kind of have my own thing and let the kids be kids.
And lastly, for the questionnaire, if you could go back and talk to the 18-year-old version of yourself, what would be the best piece of advice you could give her?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that one's really hard. The 18-year-old version of myself. I think just to really believe in myself and, and continue to do things that drive me and make me happy, and not trying to please other people and just do things to try to get the approval and get people to make you feel happy. You have the power to and the strength to have a good life and make your own decisions.
I couldn't agree more. And when we've had some people on here that have also started their own businesses, and one of the questions I love to ask is, when people start their own business, a lot of the times we hear that, you take your business home with you. You're kind of almost on the job 24/7, where you're either thinking about it or you're doing work. I always had a business professor who always said he had a friend who just said he loved doing like a regular 9-to-5 job, because as soon as it hit 5 o'clock, you were done, didn't have to think about work. But when you have your own business, that's a different story. What are some ways that you use in order to have like that healthy work-life balance, where you're able to obviously have a great business and be successful, but then also obviously able to enjoy your own life?
I guess I have it sectioned off and during the day. I have time sectioned off during the day. So, I'll do my classes in the morning, or I'll go out and record a pop-up POW. I'll do a class. I'll come home. I'll, do kind of like an administrative work behind the computer for a few hours. And then I pick the kids up from school. And when I pick the kids up from school, it's like taxi mom all the way. It's like it's done, and if someone's emailing me about, something, it takes me sometimes a day or two to get back, because now I'm in the zone of the kids and the mom and and I don't keep checking, and I don't, I might think of things when I'm watching their activities or driving them or doing things with them, like, and I'll just kind of put it to the side as a note to remind myself to do, but then I won't do until I have that administrative time slot to get it done.
And me being from Minnesota, where it can get very, very cold, we sort of have the saying where you only got to look good 6 months out of the year, because the other 6 months you're going to be in a sweater anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But being in Nevada, where it can get very, very hot, Has it been a struggle for you sometimes? I mean, I know you do all of your stuff, a lot of stuff, your stuff indoors, but on those days where it can get, in the hundreds, when it's really getting up there, has it been a struggle for you to sometimes find that motivation to still, like go out and get those workouts done?
Yes, I'm not going to lie about that. That was hard. This summer was hard because it was so hot here. And then we had all the smokes from the California fires. And so I had a harder time getting outside and doing my workouts. And so I ended up having to find places. I just had to get creative with it. And then that became kind of like an opportunity and kind of a game to do my pop-up pals indoors and promote other people's businesses and their businesses. And so, yeah, but the outside element, when it gets too hot, I will figure something else out.
Other than, your Instagram page, which is how we found you, you have a Bodypow website. Where can people get a hold of you? Or what is the best mode for people to get in contact with you if they wanted to, get into Bodypow, or they just wanted to even, have some advice?
I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. So my website, bodypow.com, and bodypow.com/live will just get you right to the page. It's on there, but bodypow.com/live will get you right to the page to show you how to get online and do the classes. And then my email is Jackie@Bodypow. People are free to email me. I always say that at the end of every class that I teach, Jackie@bodypow.com. And I'm also on Facebook, Jackie Peacock, and I have a Jackie Peacock page and I have a Bodypow page. So you're free to message me also.
I'll leave links down below for all of that stuff.
Thanks,
and again, you guys, I cannot stress enough. I mean, she has been such a great guest with her energy. If you need anything health and nutrition wise, go and check her out. If she's even a tenth of the way that she was on this podcast, she is going to help you lose the weight, and she's going to be a great influencer on you. And like I say to all of our really health and fit guests, if you go and follow on Instagram, you're going to be inspired to stop eating those Twinkies, to get off the couch, and to really get into adapting that more healthy and fit lifestyle. And I can't tell you, Jackie, just keep doing what you're doing. It was so inspiring to, especially the whole body weight exercise. My mind's just still completely blown from that.
Well,
I just can't believe that. So anyone out there, like, honestly, any of my friends that ever say that, like, they don't want to lift weights, I'm honestly just going to stop to them and say, Jackie Peacock, look her up. I'll send you her link on Instagram. She has never lifted a weight in the last 6 years, and look at how she looks. You can look that great doing that. That was just so amazing to hear. And like I said, keep doing what you're doing. You're a huge inspiration for a lot of people. And if we can help you, reach even a bigger audience, I'm more than happy to help. Everyone, Bodypow, go look it up. Go follow him.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, go follow him. Go do whatever. Look at all of her videos. She's super inspiring, and you need people like that in your life. You need people with the big energy. You need people that just are willing to help you out. And I mean, it's so great being able to talk to them.
Yeah, people contact me, and I always say I reply to every email personally. I will reply. I'll get there.
Absolutely. So again, you guys, Jackie Peacock. Or is there before we wrap things up, is there a message that you'd like to say just to anyone out there who might be just looking for a change?
There's no magic pill. It's just more about deciding and committing to yourself and just walking the line.
Mm-hmm. And if someone out there was like thinking about starting any business, starting a business owner yourself, what would be the best piece of advice that you would give to them in order to, sort of, stick to it? Because it can be rough at times, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah, I think if you have a true passion for it, that's where it starts to reveal itself. Because business, especially starting it on your own, and it goes up and down. It goes up and down. So, you'll know if you have that true passion when it's down and you still want to keep plowing because you just love it, that you're in it for the right reasons, and then just be confident in it and believe in yourself.
Absolutely, you guys. Like we've said a million times already, it's all about the mindset, getting that healthy mind to muscle connection. And again, you guys, Jackie, I've said it many times. I'm going to say it one last time. Just a great guest to have on the show. Everyone go and check her out. Highly recommend it. I'll leave all of her links down below. Like I said before, go and click on them. You will be grateful that you did. Just have that high energy, especially on days when I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling groggy or whatever. To have someone like that then to help you coach you, that's going to be the ultimate, just to, get that mindset.
Come work out with me.
Come work out with him. We'll see if we can maybe get her on and do like a live workout or something like that. That'll be a great idea, actually. We'll see if we can set something like that up. I'll keep everyone posted. But again, you guys, Jackie Peacock, loved having her on. Everyone go and give her a follow. And this is Ryan Johnson, DD on the spot, signing out. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.